Okay.
Hey. Hey. What are you doing? Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to our show. You know what it's called?
It's called Idea number 1, Koup Moderna. Tell them what.
Wait. Before we get into that, do you want to tell anybody anything?
So,
Does it look? I hope it looks big from where he's at. Where he's sitting right
I got engaged. We got engaged.
Yep. So that happened.
Wow.
So last episode was the day that I asked her because I just wanted to do a whole thing. I recorded the thing, but I didn't put together the video yet. So that's coming at some point. It's coming.
3 months.
No. Well, they don't know when this is. It's just.
Well, I know.
It's coming.
I've been waiting for this.
All right. Well, don't tell anybody. It's coming. I listen. There's an issue. There was an issue with the sound and everything. You want to tell them what happened?
Okay, so oh my gosh, that was the most perfect day.
I'm gonna put a timer on this.
I had no idea that it was happening. I had no clue at all. He took me to the restaurant that we had our first date at.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm just thinking, it's our year anniversary. We're gonna go back to the place we first, where are you going?
No, I'm saying it.
We're gonna go to the restaurant we first went to. I'm not thinking anything of it. I just think it's really sweet, normal. He asked me to get my nails done, but that's normal, He likes when my nails are done. They're not done right now, so don't look. Yeah, he just, it felt like I was really grateful for the year that I had with him. And I was just in that. I was really, when we got to the restaurant, I was really just like looking around and I was like, wow, I can't believe I was here with him last year, and just everything that's happened. I was just in that space. And so we get there, we sit down, and I'm just in my like la la land, and he's like, oh, that's weird. There's cameras up there. I guess he thought I saw them, but I really didn't. And he's like, there's cameras in the balcony. I don't wonder what that is. It's probably the restaurant recording something. And I'm like, yeah, probably, That seems...
We walked into the restaurant and she literally looked up right at the cameras. Okay? I didn't initiate.
Yes,
She literally looked right at the cameras.
I was looking around. He probably thought I looked at them. And... So
they were
here's
literally
the thing.
right in front of.
Here's the
she
thing.
literally looked right at them. I'm gonna say literally, like literally,
in the dark.
literally times 20 times. Go ahead.
In the nighttime, my eyesight is a little wacky, so.
I thought she saw the cameras, so
Those
I
cameras,
thought, oh snap, she sees them. She's looking right at them. And wait, but I told them, but I have to say this because you're gonna make me look like I threw away the whole game here. I saw that she saw them. In my mind, any normal person would have saw that she looked directly at the camera, quick, make something up. And so I thought, I'm like, oh, interesting. Those are cameras, huh? They must be shooting some sort of restaurant thing. And it worked. It worked. So
I used to work at a restaurant. I'm like, yeah, they probably are in the balcony. That makes sense.
Whether she saw it or not.
Mind you, those cameras were facing right at me. There were two of them.
Red light on and everything.
There were 2 cameras facing directly at me. Now, first of all, I don't know how to make videos and stuff with cameras. I thought the red light was on the back side of the camera saying it's recording. That makes sense to me.
Long story short, we were recording.
And I thought they were facing the other way, so I really had no idea. Anyways, yes. So I still have no clue. He he asked me something. He's like, how do you feel or something? I just start telling him everything. Basically, I just said, I feel like this has been an amazing year.
I asked her how was the year, and because we had been together for a year and some change, and I told her like, what was that like, and
and then he starts telling me really sweet things, and he's like going in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like. I think my mind started to, I wasn't thinking at all about like an engagement. I was just like trying to process what he was saying to me. And I was like, wow, he really feels this way about me. Like, I think I was just trying to process that and like just everything. And then he gets up and I'm just looking at him. And then he like goes into his pocket and I'm like, And then he like pulls out the box and I'm like, wait, what? And basically from there, I was in complete shock for like 2 minutes and how long?
I'll look over. I think it was like 2 minutes and 16 seconds exactly. Minutes. But pretty much.
I was in shock, because he eventually asked me and my brain started going. It was like, wait, do I want to be with this person?
I think I should put a like meter. I think I should
No.
Okay, all right. I won't do a like meter. I don't know how many likes are going to be said in this episode.
Story.
Okay, go.
And I'm like, 1, do I actually want to be with this person? What's a valid question? 2, like. Wait, where is this an engagement that's happening? 3, isn't my family supposed to be here? 4,
whose family is
supposed to? I don't know. That's just what went through my head.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is a weird thing. Wait, hold on. Wait, you can't go through it yet. Hold on. So, before she goes through, she thinks for some reason that when a guy asks a woman to be his wife, or when somebody asks the other person to proposes, the family is supposed to be there. Where have you seen that?
Babe.
What movie?
I've never pre-thought about this. Good thing. We had the family come anyway. So I had never thought when someone asked me to marry, I want my family. It's just like in the moment, that's just what I thought. And looking back on it, I'm really glad that happened because I did want my
That's
family
interesting.
there.
Do you think that says something about like you only want to share those kinds of moments when your parents are around? Because if that's something that just immediately popped into your head, isn't my family supposed to be here?
Yeah, I want them to be a part of the conversation.
What conversation?
And like the. So okay, so yes, I want them to be a part of the. Okay, let me finish the story. So okay, so all this is happening. I'm thinking about a lot. I'm trying to wrap it up. Basically, all these people started clapping, or I guess, so I was thinking about my family, and then I see my sister in the balcony, and my friend in the balcony, and I'm like, wait,
can I tell the rest of it? Because this is going to last for an hour if I finish, and she keeps going. So pretty much. I
still haven't answered yet.
So pretty much, we had the whole thing. I asked the family to come down. They were up there in the balcony where the camera was. And so I asked her to marry me. I was on my knees, and for the first 30 seconds, she was just saying, "What, really? Is this a reality show? What, really?" And I'm thinking in my mind, like, somebody please give her the lines. Like, tell her, like, somebody hold up a sign, say, "Yes, that's all you have."
This is shorter than my story.
Listen, I'm just trying to finish it. Yes, it is, because yes. And then the next 30 seconds, I was like, she kept saying, "Really? Is really?" And so I'm thinking now this is horrible for production value because I got the cameras there and everything is like, what is going on? And then her family comes out, like not out, but in the balcony, and they start clapping ahead of time because she hadn't said yes yet. It's been a minute now. She hadn't said yes yet. And they're clapping. So now the rest of the restaurant turns around, hearing this clapping, seeing what the heck is going on. And they see...
That confused me more.
And so now there's a collective gasp in the restaurant where everybody's like, right? People's turning around. There's like a couple next to us that turns and they like, turn their whole chair around to like witness the whole thing. And I'm like, she still hasn't said Yeah, so now what's going through my mind is almost 2 minutes. I'm like, whoa, did I jump the gun? That was scary. And then eventually she gave me one of those little yeses. And then her mom and dad came down, and it was more my Niagara Falls. And then we went to another table. We had dinner, and that was it. Were you gonna add more?
I mean, it just, when my parents came out, it was, they added another element of surprise, and then I really just lost it. So
yeah. So anyway, that day was the day that we did this first episode for this show.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because I wanted to do like a whole thing and put it together. It'll come out at some point. It's a lot. I might have to do subtitles, because the audio, we lost audio. Everything is just whatever. It happened. We're together.
Can you stop the timer for my story since you interrupted?
No, this is timer for the show.
Okay.
The whole show.
So
there's a timer running because I don't just listen. Just could talk, bruh. Anyway, the name of the show, we had a Modern Couple. Obviously, if you watched episode 1, you'll see it. But our friend Donald had one that said How the West Was Won. She doesn't know that show. I mean, a lot of people might know it, but it's kind of like my last name is Wesley.
Am I supposed to be looking at myself for the camera?
The camera?
Ooh.
You've been looking at the whole.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Okay. It's near it. So.
Okay.
What was the other? What did your sister have a name? We had a couple names. So right now.
So we're thinking, he's Haitian, I'm Dominican. Let's do something cute with that. Let's just say the same thing, but in Creole and Spanish.
Yeah. So we got Koup Moderna. Koup Moderna.
Yeah.
Koup Moderna. So
we'll see if that sticks.
Yeah, okay. We'll see if it sticks. I like it. I mean, I like it for now. Yeah. It's something. It's short and sweet. I like it.
Okay.
So this episode, this is a big one. This is our first,
Like, what are we doing?
5 areas in life that would drastically improve your relationship. 5 areas in life that would drastically improve your relationship. So these 5 areas, they would drastically improve your life, period. But how does that, support your relationship? Listen, I'm somebody that believes that if you have whatever you have in your world, we've started saying recently, like, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. Mm-hmm. And this is what that means. You have a life. I have a life. The person that you with have a life. And whatever they want to do or accomplish in their lives, it is your duty, responsibility to all just support them. Privilege to just support them.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can just support your person with whatever they've got going on, don't change what they've got going on, just support them. That would make life just so much easier. Right?
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time talking about this, about vision. Which actually, I won't take credit for it. He brought it up and was like, hey, I want to know what your vision is, and I want you to know what my vision is, and I would like to see how we can best support each other. And he really taught me and led me through this process of and it was amazing for me because I was kind of the season in my life was changing, and it was just a great opportunity for me to kind of be aware of who I am, basically, and what God has put in my heart, and who I believe I'm called to be, and all that stuff. And it's like, if you're anything like me, I've kind of thought about it. I've heard 5-year goals. I've tried to sit down and write all that stuff. And, I've really tried to have understanding where I'm going with my life. But it never fully clicked with me until this last year, where it wasn't so much well, what do you want to do? And blah, blah, blah. It was just more vision. Who are you? Who has God called you to be? And how can you be that person every step of the way you know, and we have goals, we have things that we want to do with our life, but I believe the most important thing is like who I get to be in that, and just knowing who I am, who God says I am, and all that stuff, just really knowing that. So that's where this vision came out of, and it just was so practical. I've never like experienced that.
I mean, and I haven't done this too with you know, my past relationships. I mean, who can actually say that, you know, one of the first things you want to discover about the next person, the person that you're with, the person you're partnering with in life, is what do you want to accomplish in life? And we literally took like 4 months of having multiple meetings where these were hour-long meetings where we would
like hours long
meetings where we would dive deep into what the other person's vision is. And why is that important? You want to know what, don't find out like 3, 4, 5 years later.
Yeah. And so quick thought.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a quick thought was,
I gotta put something on. I feel naked.
You're gonna put jewelry on now? What? A quick thought was, I was like, I don't know what my vision is.
This is my Miami shirt.
People would always ask me like, well, what do you want to do? And do you want this in your life? And do you want that? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I felt like the way people asked me was so like, it made me feel like I needed to know. But the better question for me, like I was saying, was who do I want to be? And I feel like that really set the foundation for like, okay, I can answer these questions because it's deep inside of me. It's not something I need to figure out.
Right, and going back, I look better.
You look better.
This is my Miami.
You look amazing.
This is my Miami shirt, so you know what I'm saying. You gotta, you know what I mean. You gotta, you know, it's nice and all the anyway.
So you have been looking at yourself.
Well, I did just now, and I was like,
I've been looking at myself too. It's fine.
Okay. No, okay, so I have. I looked a couple times, but you're supposed to look at the. But anyway, going back to vision, why that's important. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody, and like, let's just say you were with this person for 5 years, right? And then 5 years from now, you say, you know what, I kind of want to have kids. And then the person was like, well, I don't want to have kids. Ooh. Right? Because, I mean, that's so important. That's why you have to know, and this is where your visions not necessarily align in what exactly you want to do for yourself, but align at least in your relationship. Do you want to live in the city that the person wants to live in? Do you want to have kids? If so, how many kids? Do you want to raise them as a Christian or as a Muslim? Do you want to not be religious at all? Like, these are important conversations that you get to have with your person. Yeah. So anyway,
another one is like, you can't make me happy.
That's not my job. It shouldn't be the other person's responsibility to make you
would
happy.
You would always say, you add to my joy. That's what you would say about
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, yeah. You know?
Was that a bad thing?
No, that's a great thing.
Well, I just don't believe that I'm responsible to make someone else happy. I feel like happiness is something you just sort of conjure up, and vice versa. She's not
joy. You get that, you know, through God and through your own life. Like somebody else, like the same way somebody else can't make you mad. That's just already inside of you. That's the same thing.
If you're not fulfilled, everything goes down the drain, and it ain't the person that you're with's fault. Okay, and one of the ways, and we're gonna go into the 5 ways. One of the 5 areas is what we've been talking about: relationships, right? And
there's a lot to relationships.
There are a lot of different kinds of relationships. There's also obviously the intimate relationships, friendships. There's mentorships that can be also pastors and spiritual advisors. Mm-hmm. There's your professional relationships. Casual relationships. Those are
acquaintances.
Wait, but you want to say anything about any of the ones? She doesn't. She said casual relationships because casual relationships she gets. I don't know why she get all weird when you talk about. Because she knows what a casual relationship is. What's a casual relationship? You got to say it now like, because you're all weird about it.
Someone that I just know, or someone that I was dating.
That's possibly. Not a casual relationship. That's just that's the past. So a casual relationship is like, okay, let's just say somebody let's just say I'm working on a project with somebody, right? I'm in film and TV, and I meet somebody who happens to be a gaffer, and they're like great at their job, and we have that relationship, and we never work again. That was sort of casual. That happened. It moved on. Another casual relationship is a one-night stand. People do. Weird. People do one-night stands in life.
I'm gonna not be weird.
People do one-night stands in life. There's also your neighbor.
Yep.
That's it. Those relationships could be good or bad.
Yes. You know? So how do all of these relationships impact our relationship?
You're asking me right now?
Yes.
So we're gonna get into that in another episode, but I think for now, what's that thing we all know? How you do anything is how you do everything, and I think that matters for your relationships too. If you don't have your relationships under, I don't want to say control, because control is I don't think that's a real thing. If you don't know who's who, here's the thing: we try to be or do things or try to be liked by other people all the time, or we try to bring people in our lives that really aren't supposed to be, or we try to find a place to put people, right? And I think it's supposed to be something that just happens, right? When you fall in love, you don't know, you don't know when it's going to happen. You just know, oh, that's the one. You know what I'm saying? You just know that's the one. And I think for friendships, you know who's your real friend. You have shared interests, or values. And if it's something that we ain't gonna last and we're just sort of like having fun, that's possible too. And then you have mentors that guide you through life and guide you through certain things. And those relationships are important because as your intimate relationship, you need a wide spectrum of relationships in your life for that to succeed, just your life to succeed. And like I said before, you want the other person's, I don't want her, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in community, but I don't want myself to be the only person that she has conversations with if she's having certain issues. Like, let's just say she's having I don't know, like a personal issue. I might be able to support in some ways, but some ways I'm like, you need to talk to another person that deals with that kind of stuff because I'm not going to know.
You're talking about my period?
See, why you had to, no, it's not necessarily, but women's stuff. But anyway.
So, okay.
Relationships.
So it's important, I think, to understand who you are within all of these relationships. Mm-hmm. To understand, to actually verbally communicate to yourself, what is your vision for these relationships? I've never thought about that. I would always hear, you become who you're around and stuff like that, but I never actually sat down and said, what do I consider valuable in all these different kinds of relationships? It's going to be different for every single one, but
exactly.
Like, what do I want in friendships? What do I want in a relationship like this? What
right.
do I want between a mentor or a mentee? What do I actually want, and why are these things important to me? And I think that is the conversation you get to have.
And we'll go more into it on the next episode where we'll talk about relationships and what it means and how that can support your intimate relationship with the person that you're with, and other areas as well. The second area, right, is career. What do you want to say about career?
Well, it seems pretty obvious how career will impact your intimate relationship.
And also career, by the way, is not a job. Career is a huge decision and choice that you make in your life based on your skills, based on your values, based on a lot of things, and you make a decision to go into this field, and you may have a bunch of jobs within that career. Where let's just say you own you work at a restaurant, and what was the Kanye lyric? 1 week you mopping floors, next week is the fries. Anyway, and then you're the manager, and then you
I'm
know,
not the one
and
to
then
ask.
you own. She's not, and then you own the place. But you know what I mean. That's a field that you go in, and you know, me as a, and it's something that you grow in, and you get better at, and you start to learn more about that, and that career is what it provides you a purpose to get up and go after, and it's something that you have to love.
So I believe fear is a huge compass in this area because it's usually something that kind of scares you to do, to step out of your comfort zone. And I just think as an individual, it's extremely beautiful journey, an important journey to sit down with yourself and to acknowledge, okay, this is something that is in my heart that I'm passionate about. Will I take that next step to pursue that? And then when you get in a relationship, to present that, to understand why this is important to you, to understand that this is how you're going to express yourself to the world. This is how I want to, show myself and give back to the world in this way, and present that to the person that you're with. It's an important conversation to know if that person's on board and saying, I'm going to support you with this. And to know that it's something that they can also, even if it's not something they're passionate about, something that they can support and, cheer on inside of you. Because it's going to be rough, especially if you do decide to really start your own business.
It doesn't necessarily have to be rough. Sometimes it could be rough, but sometimes it could work out. But I think the key is,
I'm saying it's not always like, okay, I'm gonna start a business and it's gonna be all happy.
Right. I mean,
great.
The key is you're behind who you're with. Like, you really behind them, really support them, and whatever there is that they want to do. If your person is like, I think I'm really good at making clothes, I'm gonna go into the business of like being a clothing designer, right? I mean, based on what that is, it can be very hard or it can be a simple one. And other people have different career paths. You know what I mean?
And this bleeds into the finances section that we're going to talk about because you get to talk about that. What is that going to look like financially?
So we'll talk about career and what's a successful career and how that can support your relationship in another episode. But the third one is finances.
So just a quick note, we're going to talk about all of these in another episode.
Yeah, I can say that again. I can say it again. I'm going to keep saying that.
We're going to go into depth of all of these, but we just want to talk about all five and just kind of hit.
Why are you cramping my style?
Sorry, baby.
She's cramping my style. Finances.
Because I'm empathetic and I'm thinking about the person watching is like,
yeah, we got it.
Again. Yeah, okay, exactly. Well, so I'm trying to like.
Doesn't matter. All right, we have. A matter of fact, what we might do is just put them all, and so you can go back and look. You know what I'm saying? When you start the page, you just put all of the videos up, and they can go back right there and there.
Okay.
So go back. It's up right now.
Number 3.
Go watch the other one, and you could see what we're talking about.
Number 3 is.
So the 3.
Fine. 1, 2, 3. Finances. To do something cute. Okay, so.
How is that cute?
I don't know. Babe,
so that, oh my gosh, that is probably the one of the biggest reasons people break up is finances. I mean, there's a lot of maturity that gets to happen when talking about finances, right? And there's a lot of different ways. And if you go to the other episode, if you go and check out that other episode right now on finances, we talk about power dynamics, stress and tension, trust issue, conflicting financial goals, and different spending habits, right? And we all have those things, but those are the ways that, you can sort of like crash in a relationship. But most of the time, what ends it is not having. Not having is what it can be like. It can be very frustrating.
Deeper than that is just not being aware of what finances, the hold that finances actually has on us as humans. Mm-hmm. And because I feel like that's the deeper reason why when you don't have, what does that bring up in you? It brings up fear. It brings up your childhood, maybe trauma from like your parents, or I don't know. It could bring up a lot of different things in you that makes you react in certain ways.
Sugar water and mayonnaise sandwich. Sugar water and mayonnaise sandwich? The Trick Daddy song? Sugar water and mayonnaise sandwich.
I love that song.
What's the name of the song?
Anyways, so yes.
But it does bring you back to like times where you kind of struggled if your family were struggling, and you know you don't want to go back to that in your relationship. That can cause a lot of stress if you're not grounded, if you don't know how to get out of that. Now you can start to have resentment for your person. So there's
a conversation around finances that I don't know is happening enough. Even I'm, walking through that myself and really acknowledging, okay, what do I believe about myself in regards to finances? And I think
that was important. What do you believe about yourself in regards to finances?
Yes. And I think individually that's a very important thing to walk through and navigate. And then especially when you come together, it's a conversation that I believe must happen. Not just the money part of it, like the physical, but also the emotional part of finances. What it means. And
many people can go through a time where, if their finances is like not working or not being fulfilled in a way, they feel like, oh, I have to work this hard, or I have to do this, or I have to do that in order to, and what you're doing can make the situation worse. So there's a lot of self sort of like, why am I not? There's people that work 2, 3, 4 jobs, right? And there's somebody that's not even working. They just, investing or using other people's money to do things, and they're just like chilling. They don't do much, and they're living their life, and they're like, how? And they say, people work hard, and then they don't get out of the financial situation. And also times are tough now, and we get into that as well.
In another episode.
See, I wasn't gonna say it. But like, if we really think about this, there was a time. I need to. I'll write in the comments.
We'll talk about
write in the comments if you know it. But there's a time I think where minimum wage was a certain height, and we get to a place now where you can make minimum wage and buy a house, provide for 3 kids and your wife, and they just, everything is like amazing. And nowadays you can't have just a minimum wage job, because you can't. You think you can survive in LA on a minimum wage job? No.
Oh, shut up.
No. So, things have gotten worse and harder. Less people are getting married. Less people, and finances are a big part of that. So that's a conversation that we all get to have, and we'll have that conversation. I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Number 4,
health and fitness. That's another important factor area in life where...
for many obvious reasons, but...
What?
Physical attraction,
I just did a 6-week, which I won, by the way.
Let me say it.
Okay. I just did a 6-week challenge.
He won!
Well,
He lost the most fat and gained muscle, or I don't know what's exactly.
It was percentage of like body fat.
Okay, you worked really hard on that.
I did. But here's the thing. It's important, I think, to really care about if you don't have health and fitness.
What do you have?
Here's, and this is something I probably should have mentioned in the beginning, but I'm mentioning it now. All these areas get to be important in your life. You don't make one of them more important than the other, right? Because when one area fails, all the other ones start just come tumbling down. So we get to sort of figure out a way to be what's in it, be constantly trying to fulfill all those areas in our lives, whether it's fitness, whether it's career, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, because I think it's important to really make all of the things just as important as the other. Because if I'm in a relationship and I have like a dire like health situation and I ain't gonna be here in 6 months, these are real things that you get to talk about. Or like if I have diabetes, or if I'm not, treating myself good, and I'm not able to get up or to even have kids to be able to support your kids. If you want to have kids and your person is not healthy, how where are they going to fit in raising this kid, and how much energy are they going to have? Are they going to be able to like support? These are things that are important.
I just had this thought. It takes a lot of courage to have these conversations. Because, it's better to know than to not know.
It is. I think. And also, health, I mean, you just want to get rid of stress in your life. You don't want to have stress, because when you have stress, you bring that into your relationship, and that's another whole bad thing.
Another aspect of health is mental health.
Mental health, right.
And that comes in all shapes and sizes and ways that sometimes we're not aware of. So it's important to, again, take that time as an individual and then bring it to your partner, and have those conversations,
And even with mental health, it's hard to even have those kinds of conversations.
Exactly.
If you're like struggling with even being emotional intimacy, and all those ways that you can. What are you doing?
Sorry, my toes are cold.
Oh, it's making me lose my train of thought. She was putting her cold feet on me. Anyway, was that we're good with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're gonna talk more about it, and we'll talk about our journey too with this. But there's a lot to it, but it's a foundational part of our life, and so what is the vision for that? And that's a beautiful question we get to ask, because sometimes it feels like life is happening to us and it feels like we don't have control over those things. And maybe there is a situation that we didn't necessarily want to happen in our life, or I don't know. We have, different things, but we still get to at least ask that question. We get to at least, look down that path and say, who do I want to be in this? And what can I do?
And that, I mean, we're talking accidents happen, things happen, life happens.
Things happen.
So these are very important areas in life. So the last but not least, we might have a bonus after this one, is community. So what is community?
I'm gonna read.
So don't read, just tell me. What is community?
Community is...
I'll tell them.
Community is... it's social groups, it's support systems outside of your relationship. It's,
being involved outside.
Personal growth.
Yeah, being involved outside of your, and I mean, obviously you have communities with friends, you have different friends, you have different, I mean, it's sort of kind of goes into relationships as well. But having a community where you're able to go express yourself and be able to be
and almost give back,
learn more about yourself, learn more about others. Like Jasmine I can't possibly give Jasmine everything that she needs to know about the world, right? And Jasmine doesn't watch the news. She doesn't read about the news. She likes to be like clear and happy and like clouds and it's beautiful, hey, which is fine. I love the news because I'm like, what is going on? So we have like a yin and yang thing, which I love that she doesn't know everything that's going on in the world, because she gives me
the summary version. I'm like,
she gives me a sense of everything is gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And I give her a sense of, hey, everything's not.
You gotta know what's going on.
You gotta know what's going on out here in this world, because everything ain't all, dandy. But I think community is very important in how ways you can give back and ways you can learn about what is my purpose in this world. Right now, you're looking outside of just your own life. You're looking outside of, what do I get to leave behind? What is my legacy that I'm leaving behind in this world for everyone else?
And you get to learn a lot about the other person in that community, because I don't know if I said that right, but basically, I will know more about you based on where you give your time, your money, your resources, your knowledge. I will learn about you, you know, with those people. Maybe they know something about you that I haven't yet learned, and they can speak into that, you know.
Right. And how is community important to a relationship?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is I get to learn about you. I get to learn about you in a different perspective, in a different way, because, you know, the relationship you have with me is very specific, you know, and the relationship you have with all these other people is, you know, in your work community, in your, like, friendship groups, like all those things is going to be different. I'm going to see different sides of you. I'm going to see what makes you laugh. I'm going to see what makes you excited and or upset or whatever. You know what I mean?
And I think it's very important. And
that's important information to know before you marry someone, I think.
And I think it's important for everyone to have that community outside of, you know, what's going on, and the benefits of having that community outside of your relationship is that, man, you just get to bring so much more diversity, so much more experience, and that's, I think, very, very important to not only just what you bring to a relationship, but the growth of the relationship and what it ends up being as you grow together. And that's why I think community has to be on that list.
And I think something else about community is community means people, and people means like maybe arguments, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know, just tribulation.
Oh, you learn a lot of lessons from people.
You know, and so I get to see how he responds to different things that may happen in a work setting. You know, that is not necessarily like something, you know, if someone does something to you that you're not a big fan of, how do you respond? And I get to see that in you.
Bottom line is, get out of your relationship, get out of what's going on inside of that, and have a community where you're able to give and receive. And by that, you can bring a lot more to your relationship. And last, I guess it's a bonus one is recreation. Fun bonus. We give you a bonus. Do stuff that you love. Like, you know, if you like to paint, draw, do that. If you like to play basketball, go out and do that. I mean, I think, listen, there was a day I was like stressed out. I was overwhelmed. I was working. I had a lot to do. And I just had so much to do on my plate, right? And when you have all of that, you know, your person can feel that. You don't think they can feel it? She can feel if I'm like, got so much, because you bring all of that. Then you can't keep that to yourself. You know, all of that energy comes out, right?
Especially if you're like me, very emotional and very aware of everybody else's emotions, and you carry that and you internalize everything that's going on.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm saying that's
don't do that.
That's how I'm very.
I'm just messing with you.
That's how I operate in the world. So
right. So
definitely feel that.
So yeah, for me, when I'm in that way, I mean, I'm like, I need to do something.
That's why I'm an artist.
And sometimes I'll go play basketball. You know, I'm stressed.
And it's so great to
I go to the gym, do some snatches.
It's so
like
so
225 pound snatch and 375 pound squat.
And it's really important to include, you know, your person in those activities for so many reasons. Connection between you two, you get to learn something new about them.
Get to learn something new, period.
Something just new in general. You get to engage in something that they really care about.
We do cooking classes sometimes. And I think that's amazing.
We go to the gym together.
Do cooking classes together, play basketball together.
Yeah.
You know, we like, and have we done crafty stuff yet?
We made flowers out of Legos.
Flowers and like the lamp thing that you created with the yarn. I mean, these are all recreational things that I think are important to like, just sort of like woo-saw. And just sort of get out of, you know, I feel like we live in a place where we need to just be like this all the time.
Go.
And it's important for us to like, just take the time.
Just be present, do something.
And then come back, you know, because all of that can bring something to the relationship that can be harmful when you're not, you know, when you're not being fulfilled in these areas. So, did we miss anything?
No.
So that's the episode. We talked about what did we talk about there? Relationships, careers, finances, health and fitness, community, and a bonus, recreation. So join us on the next. Does that sound weird?
On the next episode.
Does that sound weird? Join us on the next episode of Koup Moderna.
If you need a voiceover person, then call him.
I hit my agent up. Don't call me. Call my agent. You know what I'm saying? So.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh my God, I'm a shades.
No. Bye.